everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Tuesday, December 6, 2022. Let's take a look at how the coins are doing. Bitcoin trading just a little bit below 17,000, Ethereum $1,254, Tether on number 3, BNB number 4, USDC number 5, Binance USD number 6, XRP number 7, Dogecoin number 8, Cardano number 9, and Polygon number 10. Those are your top 10 coins. Again, today, according to CoinMarketCap. Not a lot of changes there in prices. However, we do have some news. I received this tweet here from Laura Sheen. She's somebody I follow. I highly recommend that you also follow her on Twitter and subscribe to her channel in YouTube. She put out a great interview regarding the state of Genesis and Grayscale, both owned by DCG. So let's have a quick listen.
The bankruptcy, but then you're kind of at the same position you're in now. It doesn't provide like any additional benefit to the creditors or to DCG right now to put Genesis into bankruptcy. And we can explain kind of why that would be, but maybe just for the purpose of brevity right now, moving on to the prepackage, that in my opinion probably makes the most sense, because in all other scenarios, it's the death of one or two prize assets, Genesis and Grayscale. And by killing either of those two assets, it reduces the overall value of DCG. And by reducing the overall value of DCG, the Genesis creditors, right, which are the ones kind of driving this process right now, have less potential value to make them whole on their deposits, right? And so you want to create a situation whereby there's the most value possible at DCG and the most potential value could accrue to the Genesis creditors. And a prepackaged restructuring would enable both entities, Grayscale and Genesis, to continue operating and create value.
I have a tweak on this. I think Genesis lending will be shut down because it's a negative enterprise value business. It hasn't generated a retained earning through an entire cycle, and the write-downs actually exposed DCG. So they got to shut that thing down, right? What happened here is an impairment to capital, and the remedy for an impairment of capital is raise fresh equity. That's just the reality of it. DCG, as was noted earlier, now has a $1.1 billion liability that's payable in 10 years. Creditors are going to have a claim on that one way or another, either directly to DCG if Genesis goes through Chapter 11, or directly or indirectly, one way or another. So they have to raise capital.
Okay, so there you have it. I will post a link for this tweet and also a link for the YouTube video covering the entire interview. I highly recommend you have a listen to it and understand the situation with GBTC. And on another news also regarding GBTC, they have been sued by Third 3. They basically are demanding more details about the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which has fallen in value by nearly 75% this year. So not very good news now for GBTC. And on another news, we have Sam Bankman-Fried. He basically spoke today, and he is saying that he is going to be represented by the lawyer Ghislaine Maxwell lawyer. So basically, he is already having representation, although he says in the article he doesn't know how he's going to be able to pay the legal fees, which is something a little bit interesting to listen from a previous billionaire in this environment. But yeah, there you have it. And he actually appeared on a space today. I will post a link of this space as well, but very interesting questions and answers from Sam Bankman-Fried, like this one.
There were a ton of cases where you'd see small hits to the insurance fund. From this, like if you looked at the FTX insurance fund and cases where there were payouts from it, some bits of that were from, very large market moves and like Bitcoin positions going under, but that wasn't most of it. Most of what we saw there instead was cases where basically you had, you had illiquid positions, illiquid tokens, and generally the losses were small. They were manageable. I think it was, I want to say ballpark 5% of revenue each year or something like that. And so it felt like a cat and mouse game, but not the most destructive one ever to us. It's more of a pain in the ass than anything else, but it was a pain in the ass, and ultimately, I think that, and I think I certainly at least misjudged what the real downside risk from that was, and took the scenarios that happened as indicative of that risk rather than, I think, recognizing that, in fact, the real downside scenarios were quite a bit larger than.
Okay, so there you have it. He's basically trying throughout the interview to explain what happened with FTX. He still doesn't have a full picture of everything that went on and how did he end up in that position with FTX and Alameda Research. However, very interesting to hear already some of the answers coming up from SBF so far. So I will post a link from this space as well. It's about an hour and 40 minutes or so. So if you have some time, I highly recommend, especially if you have been affected by FTX, just to see what is going on with this case. And there you have it. That is all for today, and I will see you in the next video.